Good afternoon. Welcome to Dale's Daily Ramblings for Saturday, February 4th, 2017. I think this cold and flu season is going to be the death of me. I've been struggling with it since before Christmas and haven't fully shaken it yet. Today, once again, I'm struggling with a migraine strength headache. If y'all would, please pray that I get over this thing soon. Alright, so I don't normally talk about, politics and religion over here on this site. But there's a lot of talk about the Muslim ban in the news these days, and I would kind of be amiss if I didn't address it. So some of you know that I was in the Navy for 22 years. And while I was in, I circled the globe twice. In 1994, I went halfway around and then came home. In 96, I went halfway around by sea and then went the other half by hopping around by air until I finally got home. That's a story in itself. Then I went halfway around a few more times by sea from the West Coast. And then in 2010, I went halfway around again by sea for the first time. That completes 2 revolutions. And in that time, I've visited the Middle East 5 times. First time in 94 and last time in 2010. I've literally sat at a counter, eating dinner, served to me by a Muslim, with Muslims on each side of me, and eating or drinking at tables behind me. And we sat there and we shared family pictures. We told jokes and just told stupid stories about, all the stuff I did on a bicycle growing up. And they tell me about all the stupid stuff that they did. Man, that may or may not include a camel. You know what I'm saying? But we just told stories and we laughed and we joked and we had a great time. I've been to Bahrain, Jebel Ali, Dubai, Kuwait, and I've also been in places in Turkey. All of these are Muslim countries. So I want to say a little bit of something about Muslims. Okay? Most of them are kind, hardworking people that just want to get up in the morning, have a little breakfast, go to work, eat lunch, finish their work, and come home, eat dinner, and enjoy their time with their family. They're extremely loyal to their faith. They pray several times a day facing Mecca. They're willing to share their faith with me and then listen while I share my Christian faith with them. Just normal people. Mostly, the 2 religions aren't terribly different, but we do have a few differences. And those differences are things that, they consider to be extremely important. And they're also things that we consider to be extremely important. However, there's very little reason that I can find to treat a Muslim with hatred just for being different. However, since my time overseas, there's been this growing movement within the Muslim faith that even concerns most modern day Muslims. These caliphates threaten every non-Muslim country in existence. And if you're paying attention, they've caused an awful lot of trouble over in Germany, France, England. I've also seen some extremely disturbing videos in New York City and Chicago where they're marching through the streets and chanting, all kinds of stuff, and it's different, but essentially it's death to America. I think we're in a lot of trouble because these radicals simply will not stop until they are stopped by extreme force. It's simply too difficult to just lock them up. They have chosen, they've taken a vow to fight to the death. And they're going to bring death to America if we don't do something to stop them. And keep in mind, this is not a war on Muslims. And some people have made that claim, both on the left and the right. But that's really not the case. This, everyday Muslims are actually concerned about these same radicals. And with each passing day, it's getting harder and harder to define who's going to be the next radical Muslim. It's almost impossible to do this vetting process. Now, there's some that we can say, okay, he's showing some traits, let's watch him. But then somebody else comes out of left field, somebody born in the United States, watching stuff on the internet, and then all of a sudden he's radicalized, and he goes blow something up or shoot something up. Nobody saw it coming. So who was the enemy? Now, this is exactly why when I see liberals waving these big signs saying refugees are welcome here, I just cringe. They don't realize the dangers of doing that. Look at Germany. Look at France. Look at England. They're going nuts. Likewise, I'm just absolutely disgusted by the posts of doorways wrapped in bacon, as if some kind of joke, Conservatives lost their mind over there. Both the left and the right are completely out of touch with what this really is. They have no idea. They don't want to know. They don't care. They just, laugh at the other. Hey, no. Very few people that can actually grasp the real gravity of the situation. I understand that this post is long, but it's also way too short to discuss the differences between the Sunni and the Shiites. But I'm begging you, seriously, read up on this. And don't just read something that the left put out there, because it's all, rainbows and unicorns and whatnot. And don't read anything that's written by the conservatives, because it's all hatred for the Muslims. They never did anything right. They're all evil, and they all have to die. It's just nuts. Why would I follow either one of those two ideologies? It's just insane. Muslims never do anything wrong. Muslims can never do anything right. Seriously, folks? You guys don't see a problem with this? The answer's somewhere in the middle. I'm telling you that Muslims are daftly decent people. The everyday Muslims are different. We don't agree on a religious perspective, but we kind of get along on a more level playing field. You know what I'm saying? I want you to do something, okay? I want you to do some reading. Find a book on religion, the world religions. Take a class on world religion, and then think about it. And if you haven't, and if you took one back in college, go find your textbook. Read it again. Go check one out at the library. Go buy one, world religions. It's not that hard. There's a lot of different books, okay? Read up on the Muslim people and try to understand what's happening in their faith right now. I want you to do something else. Ask yourself why the first 5 books of the Bible and the first 5 books of the Quran are what the Jews call the Torah. Why is that? And I don't really want an answer. I just want you to think about it. Both the left and the right need to wake up and stop fighting about this if we're going to survive this thing. We are under attack. And it's not by the everyday Muslims, but it is most definitely by the Muslim religion. Not as a whole, but as a sect. There's a sect of radical Muslims that are going to take over. And they'll kill their own kind. Think about this. I love y'all. Let's try to get together on this, okay?